Swedish Air Force was the fourth largest in the world during the Cold War, and in 1955 the Swedish Air Force had 1,200 modern planes. The largest air forces was USA, Great Britain and Russia, of course. And we are here at an old Cold War air base in Moholm. It's actually close to where my grandfather and grandmother lived. You see this this road is a taxiway for planes. There were air bases everywhere in Sweden, in the woods or spread out in the country, and the planes were hidden in pockets like this, camouflage, so they were very difficult to find. The idea was that it should be very difficult to wipe out the Swedish Air Force with the planes spread out all over. Here is the taxiway for the Lanson and Viggen. This is an attack base where the 2nd Division at F6 Karlsborg had their wartime base. The runway is just over there. It's closed, so I can't get there, but you see the curve of the taxiway. Yeah, it's all closed now. And here you see maybe a better view of the airfield. It's used for storage of timber, and you can see the taxiway over there. And the barn is storage for equipment. It was storage for equipment for the airbase. We are now at outside former airbase F6 Karlsborg, and this is a Lanson plane. It's a Saab built attack plane, and I've got permission to record this video heading in this direction, because in the other direction there are some secret stuff that are prohibited to show on a video. And this is Kungliga Västgöta Flygflottilj. It was closed in 1904. Tro and vilja. I don't know how you... the Lanson plane was built in 450 examples. And first flight was the prototype in 1952. The construction started in 1948, which was pretty soon after the Second World War. It's a swept wing design, and it was the first plane that broke the sound barrier in the Swedish Air Force. 450 examples produced, and production was 1955 to 1960. Then the remarkable thing is that 1/3 of the planes were hit by accidents and killing 100 flight crew plus 7 civilians on the ground. That's a remarkable figure, and I record this video to get attention on this, because it was a really different time. We flew hard in the Air Force, just like it was in the wartime. We flew very tough, low level, so that we were prepared for the war. Killing some of my friends too. It's it's a sad story. And one of my squadron friends wrote a book about this. It's called The Ones Who Never Got Home, and I will visit him a little bit later. I don't know if he's at home right now, but the book is you don't really get happy when you read the book. It's a terrible price for the pilots and the family of the pilots too. Yeah, a different time, absolutely. This plane, the Lanson, is called one of the most beautiful planes built ever, in Sweden at least. And I think it has really clean lines. Okay, we are at home at Alf Ingesson Thoor, one of the authors of the book The Ones Never Came Home.
Hello.
My squadron friend from F6 Karlsborg, he taught me to fly the Saab Zafir and also the Viggen, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, nice to meet you all. Welcome to Karlsborg and my little house here.
Yeah.
This is my writing place. Just behind you, you have the Viggen also, and even a bigger picture here from the Fox Blue Squadron.
Yeah, good old days. Yeah.
Old days.
Are you one of them, or?
Yes, I'm in
number three. Yeah. And you were a group leader, as I remember. Yeah.
I was what you say in English, vice squadron commander.
Vice squadron commander. Yeah. And I wasn't in the Air Force so long time, so I was usually number 2 or number 4 in the group. Where number 4 was the trickiest because it was so easy to get behind.
You were an engineer as well.
Engineering.
That's the limit, you know.
Engineering pilot. Yeah. But I like to talk about this book you wrote about, because it's really. You think about it, the ones who never got home, and I remember in the 80s it was about 10% who were killed in a 10-year period. That was in the 80s, and I think it was even worse.
Oh yeah,
earlier, much worse.
More than 660 between 1946 and 1989.
Yeah,
and most of them were pilots.
Yeah,
also other.
That's a terrible price, and not only for the pilots who were killed, but also for their families, because for one pilot or one flight crew, maybe 10 or 20 people are affected.
You used to estimate when you have one killed, you have 30 relatives.
30 relatives, yes. Or more than I thought. Yeah.
So okay. That is what you have to deal with. Yeah. Fortunately, we don't have so much these days. The latest crash with fatalities was 2007.
Yeah.
It was 2 helicopters crashed, 4 people dead.
And in the 50s or 60s, this was a couple of pilots every month.
Well, we had about between 20-25 per year. 1944, 1945, we have more than 45 fatalities for 1 year.
Yeah. So the book is in Swedish, but I would very much like to tell about this book, and I will.
I can show you. Well, this is what it looks like.
Yeah.
Those who never made it home.
Yeah.
And it's Göran Jacobsson.
Yeah.
And myself. And it took us 8 years to produce this book.
8 years, yeah. And I strongly recommend it. So if you can read Swedish, you really should buy it, because it's a well done book with lots of documents and material and pictures of the pilots
and all these
killed.
Statistics.
Yeah.
Look at all these are killed people.
I remember when you said last time I was here that you feel unhappy when you read this book, and that's a very good expression.
Well, this book is not suitable to read before you go to bed every night, because it's a little bit. It's not a very fun book, but it's very important to know your history, and especially for new pilots and new people in the Swedish Air Force. Yeah. They need to know their history. Yeah. This picture is a 4-ship of Saab Lanson who make a missing man formation.
Yeah, missing man means that this one is going to get buried, or he left because he died, and there will be an empty place in the.
Will be a space between them.
Yeah. And they do it also now, but not so very often, luckily. Yeah.
Then I have this book as well.
Yeah. This is about you, Alf.
It's my biography.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, and the Saab Zafir.
We have another project in a company called Warbirds of Sweden. We are producing producing
This
We'll
one?
be flying in, let's say, in 2-3 years from now. It's a big project going on in Gothenburg.
Yeah. Yeah, I've followed that one too, because I regularly meet Björn Svedfeldt.
Yeah, he's
And
owner of it.
A good thing, because I suppose there are parts available for the engine. It's a Pratt and Whitney engine. It's a DC-3 engine, basically.
Exactly.
So it's a good, very good. And we'll take a look at that plane later also. So thank you, Alf, for letting me visit you, and for that you told about the book.
All my pleasure.
Yeah.